Greetings to you, the lucky finder of this golden ticket. From Mr. Willy Wonka. I shake you warmly by the hand. For now, I do invite you to come to my factory and be my guest for one whole day. I, Willy Wonka, will conduct you around the factory myself, showing you everything there is to see. And afterwards, when it is time to leave, you will be escorted home by a procession of large trucks, each one filled with all the chocolate you could ever eat. And remember, one of you lucky 5 children will receive an extra prize beyond your wildest imagination. Until then, Willy Wonka!
Let's keep working on
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
by Roald Dahl. So before talking about today's objective, let's review the story using the story map. And here's what I want you to do right now. Pause the video and try to retell the story using my story map before listening to me. Let's start. In the first picture, I see Charlie and Grandpa Joe. So there was a boy called Charlie. Charlie lived with 6 people, including his parents and his 4 grandparents. The most important person is Grandpa Joe. In the next picture, I see a Wonka chocolate bar. So Charlie was poor and he dreamed of eating chocolate, especially Wonka chocolate. Good. Next picture. I see a factory. The best chocolate factory in the world was located near Charlie's house, so he could smell chocolate all day long. So far, that factory belongs to
Mr. Willy Wonka.
Good. In the next picture, I see a golden ticket. So Mr. Wonka decided to allow 5 children to visit his factory, but under one condition. They must find one of the 5 golden tickets hidden in Wonka chocolate bars. Augustus won the first ticket, then Veruca, then Violet, and Mike. Now there was only one golden ticket left. Who won the last golden ticket? Charlie. So while he was walking back from school, he found some money in the snow and went to buy a Wonka chocolate bar. As he was pulling up the paper, he saw a golden ticket under the chocolate. And that was after his birthday. Good. In the next picture, I see
Mr. Willy Wonka.
So the big day arrived and they met
Mr. Willy Wonka
in person. Then they went inside the factory. And the first thing they saw was the chocolate river. Look here, the chocolate river. Wow, it looks amazing, right? Good. So they saw the chocolate river and the chocolate waterfalls. This is where they met the Oompa Loompas, small people famous for working, dancing, and oh no! In the next picture, I see Augustus in the chocolate river. So as he was trying to taste the chocolate, Augustus fell in the chocolate river. And he was gone. Then they went into the inventing room, also called the magic room, where they found the great gum machine. This is where we lost Violet as she tried to eat the magic gum. So she turned purple and round, as you can see in the picture. Then the Oompa Loompas had to take her away, so she was gone as well. So far, we lost Augustus in the chocolate river and Violet in the inventing room. Good. Then they went to the nut room, where lots of small animals were opening nuts. Veruca tried to catch an animal, but those little animals pushed her with the trash. So Veruca is gone as well. So far, we lost Augustus in the chocolate river, Violet in the inventing room, also called the magic room, and now Veruca in the nut room. Who's left? Mike with his parents and Charlie with Grandpa Joe. Okay. Now, in the next picture, I see Mr. Willy Wonka, Mike and his mom, and Charlie with Grandpa Joe in the Great Glass Lift, or also called Great Glass Elevator. So they were tired and wanted to watch TV, so Mr. Wonka took them to the Great Glass Lift. And it was a scary elevator. Then they went into the TV chocolate room. Whoa! In the TV chocolate room, Mike went under the camera and he became very small, as you can see in the picture. So now we lost Mike as well. Again, we lost Augustus in the chocolate river, Violet in the inventing room, also called magic room, Veruca in the nut room, and now Mike in the TV chocolate room. Who's left? Charlie and Grandpa Joe. So Mr. Wonka told Charlie that he was the winner, and they went back into the Great Glass Lift. So that elevator, the Great Glass Lift, flew up into the sky right above Charlie's house. Then Mr. Wonka told Charlie that he actually won the whole chocolate factory. And then the Great Glass Elevator fell on Charlie's house. But it didn't really matter because now the whole factory belongs to Charlie. Good job. Okay, now let's review the different rooms of the factory. First of all, the chocolate river. Then, the inventing room, also called the magic room, with the great gum machine right in the middle of the room. Then the nut room, where small animals were opening nuts. The Great Glass Elevator. And finally, the TV chocolate room. Perfect. All right, so today's objective is I can use speech marks. Interesting. So, speech marks are used to show that someone is talking or speaking, and this is called direct speech. So when someone is talking in your story, this is called direct speech. You have to use speech marks. Now, speech marks are right here in this speech bubble. So it's these marks. Good. Now, how do we do that? Always start with speech marks. Then write your sentence as usual. Start with a capital letter. Don't forget your finger spaces. End with either a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark. Then speech marks again. After that, you have to use a verb like said, or maybe shouted, or asked, or yelled, or replied to show that someone is talking. And then you have to write a name. You have to say who's talking. So here it's not really a name. Here it's I. So who's talking? Me. So again, speech marks. Then write your sentence with a capital letter, finger spaces, full stop or question mark or exclamation mark, and then speech marks again. After that, a verb like said or shouted or asked or yelled or replied to show that someone is talking. And then a name. Who's talking? Good. More examples. Can't you see I'm watching television? Said Mike. So this is a direct speech. How do you know? First of all, I see speech marks. Then I see the verb said. And then a proper noun, a name, Mike. So who's talking? Mike. How do you know? You see speech marks, you see the verb said, and you see Mike. By the way, Mike is a name, right? It's a proper noun. So it has to start with a capital letter because it's a name. Good. So again, direct speech is when someone is talking. How do you know that someone is talking? It's when you see speech marks, then a verb like said or answered or shouted or yelled, then a name, Mike. Good. Another example. Hooray! Shouted Grandpa Joe. Again, this is a direct speech. How do you know? You can see speech marks. Then you see the verb shouted. Then Grandpa Joe. So Joe is a name, right? It's a proper noun. It starts with a capital letter. Who's talking? Grandpa Joe. Good. Move on. Next sentence. It must be full of chocolate, said Augustus. Who's talking? Augustus. And this is a direct speech because someone is talking. How do you know? You can see speech marks. Then you can see the verb said. So you know that someone is talking. And then you see a name, Augustus. Augustus is a proper noun. It's a name. And it starts with a capital letter. Good job. For the last time, speech marks are used to show that someone is talking. And when someone is talking, this is called direct speech. How do you know that someone is talking? First of all, you can see speech marks. Then you see a verb like said, yelled, thought, answered, shouted, and then you see a name. Good. One more time. You have to put speech marks first. Then you start your sentence normally. You write your sentence normally. Start with a capital letter. Don't forget your finger spaces. Then end your sentence with either a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark. Then you put speech marks again. After that, your verb, like said, yelled, answered, shouted, thought, and then the name of the person who's talking. Good job. Now I want you to go get a piece of paper and a pencil because we're going to be doing this activity together, at least the first sentence. So, this is a sentence, right? My cousins live in a big city. Capital letter, full stop, finger spaces, right? That's a sentence. Now, I want you to show that someone is actually saying that sentence. How will you do that? Well, I'm just going to show you the first one, okay? So, speech marks. Then, write the exact same sentence. Start with capital letter. My cousins live in a big city. Full stop. Speech marks again. Then choose your verb. Said or thought or replied or shouted or yelled, anything you want. I will pick said. And then the name, any name you want. I will pick Mike. No capital letter at said. I will pick Mike. And then full stop again. Ta-da! So, again, speech marks. Then write the exact same sentence. Capital letter, full stop, finger spaces, then speech marks again. Then choose your verb. It could be said, could be thought, could be replied, shouted, yelled, and then a name. Remember, a name is a proper noun. It has to start with a capital letter. Good job. Now I want you to do the same for the next sentence on your own. So the next sentence is, we have 2 dogs and a cat. I want you to show that someone is talking. How are you going to do that? Speech marks, write the sentence, pick your verb, and then a name. Done. Next one. You are much taller than me. Again, you have to show that someone is actually saying that sentence. Speech marks, write the same sentence, put the verb, and then the name. Excellent.
To be continued.